Christina Carter.
And I'm Joe Carter.
And welcome to TheSocialPet.net News and Views. Today's topic is partnership between animal shelters.
And with that, we're going to be talking about the Portland, Oregon area, most specifically today. With unstructured meetings beginning in 2004, the animal shelters in Portland began to explore pooling their efforts and resources. And this grew into a dramatic refocus toward cooperation around the shared goals of reducing and eliminating euthanasia, as well as promoting the health and well-being of companion animals in Portland. It led to what they now call the Animal Shelter Alliance of Portland, or ASAP. Very clever. So, Christina, could you help us understand some of the key points that they began to focus on through those unstructured meetings?
I can. They started decreasing shelter intake, so less animals coming in. The spay-neuter initiative, so they're not making more animals. The TNR, the Trap, Neuter, Return program, which was mainly set up for...
Can you explain a little bit more about that? What is Trap, Neuter, and Trap what?
Is mainly set up for cats, for feral cats, the colonies that were happening, so they can't continue to grow. So they would trap, neuter, or spay the existing cats and then return them to their environment. So they are there, they're still in the same place, but they're just not able to make their colonies bigger. Another point is the returning to the owner, so the pet identification, their licensing, and microchips or tattoos is another huge thing that they started to promote. The lost and found system, so you could contact them and they would be helping you to try and get reunited with your lost pet, or try to reunite the lost pet with the people. And then behavior resources, so training, management of dogs and cats while in the shelter, taking good care of, knowing what good care is and knowing how to do that. The transfer system, which is almost like a relief valve. They would trade animals back and forth. If one shelter has openings and another one is being overrun, they can call and say, hey, do you have room for cats and dogs, and how many? And then that way there's less likelihood of them having to put animals to sleep because they don't have the space or the funds or the food for them. And then standardized shelter care guidelines and medical protocols, meaning everybody's on the same page, they're doing the same things, they triage, or they just look and see. They have a vet on staff usually, or that comes and volunteers. I'm not exactly sure how that works, but I know there's a veterinarian, at least one, that works with each shelter and can come in and check out the pets for them and see if there's any major medical issues. But they standardize that, so everybody is more or less doing the same thing. And then resource sharing, again, volunteers and things like that. Foster care and behavior training, again. So that's a key theme for them, is the training, getting people to the information that they need outside of the shelter.
Okay, so what are some of the effects of that cooperation between the shelter organizations? What happens?
There's less animals being put to sleep because they can now get them adopted. Working together is a huge thing because it tells the community that they're actually working toward something instead of fighting against something else. It's more efficient.
If they've been able to reduce euthanasia is a little bit vague. I mean, do you have a specific number that they have been able to improve the situation, and in what time frame?
The number I have is euthanasia was reduced by 65% between 2006 and 2012. So that's 6 years they reduced it by 65%.
Wow.
Yeah.
I would imagine they gained some organizational efficiencies rather than having each one have their own adoption programs and forms and all of that, that if things began to get standardized, they were able to develop some economies of scale, I guess.
Yeah, I'm sure it helps. Having the release valve to be able to shuttle them back and forth, trade them between shelters, if there's another shelter that has the room until they get adopted, or resources such as people, maybe even the trainers that would come.
Do you think that the general public has a clear vision for the actual struggles that some shelters go through, and even those that do euthanize? Do you think that they have a clear picture of the sentiments that the people who are running those facilities actually go through?
No, I don't think that the general public has a good view, and I don't think anybody's delved too deeply into it either and asked questions.
Would you say that culturally speaking, we are shifting more towards the idea of management and no-kill versus ignore the problem and deal with it in the back room? Maybe I'm mischaracterizing the way it used to happen, but I'm trying to cast a vision for what's different about today versus yesterday. Do you think that our cultural values are shifting?
Dogs have gone from being livestock to companions. So they were outdoors only for the most part. You only got a dog because you needed something from it. Sometimes, like hunters would need the dog to go help them track the deer or whatever, or catch it in some cases, or rabbits or whatnot, or protection when they're out and about in the fields. But I think that's probably a big part of it, is that we're transitioning the dogs into our lives more fully. So we're looking at them, they're coming to be in a different light. So yeah, we have those people out there fighting for them and saying, wait a minute, this isn't ethical treatment. Now, yes, you can go too far with that because, let's face it, not everybody's going to do the same thing the same way, and that's okay. That's what makes us people. It's what makes us different. But yes, so I do think that it is changing, that we are going toward the management and no-kill.
So you had mentioned behavior training programs and the fact that they are now connected to shelters. Why would a behavior training program be connected to a shelter, and what sort of a benefit would that provide? Can you fill us in a little bit about that?
That's a good question. I mean, my personal opinion is that the shelters are realizing if they have a well-adjusted pet going out the door, that they are less likely to see it. I don't have a number on how much less likely, but the studies have come back to them that their own little trials that they've done, I'm sure, and maybe there is a bigger study, but I don't know what it is, that says this is the percentage of returned pets that have gone through this behavior training, if you will. And so they just want to give the people that are adopting these pets an idea of, okay, this is what I can do when we're coming up to new situations and the dog seems unsure. Just to have a well-rounded family member, because that's what most of us think of them as anymore. They're members of the family. So you don't want your kid running around biting people. That'd be kind of rude, or peeing on their leg or something. So yeah, it's a good idea to go through with the behavior recommendations that they say.
So you're saying that cultivating a good relationship between the people and the pet actually is a benefit not only for them, but for, I guess, recidivism rate, where the dogs would come back to the shelter, or cats. So. Yeah, so what do you see on the horizon? I mean, it's a pretty dramatic shift going on, and I don't think Portland's the only area. It's just sort of the area we picked on today. But what do you see in terms of the shift in the way things are happening in terms of animal control and care? What do you see on the horizon?
I see a more of a shift. We're already shifting that way, but more of a shift toward the sharing the goal of no-kill shelters and adoption centers, and an increase in developing and strengthening that relationship between people and pets. I mean, that is what we're all about. Our name says TheSocialPet.net. We treat our pets like our family because they are. They're just furry little creatures that need protection and
yeah, and for some people, they are the bridge of the bond of trust between creatures. That sometimes people have had a falling out, so to speak, with humanity, and that pets are a good bridge back to that because their loyalty and all of that, I suppose. Well, do you have anything else to comment about the big picture here about cooperation between shelters and what it results in?
Nope. Just do your homework about what breed you're going to look for before you go. Or you can go and see what animals, what dogs or cats are there.
We do have a video called Adoption 101 that goes into all of that. What's a good fit for you and your family with animals and all of that. There is links in the description below on the people that the Portland area worked with. Was an organization called Maddie's Fund, and that's at maddiesfund.org. That's an organization that promotes the transition to no-kill, as well as a link to what Portland is doing specifically below, and some other things that you might find useful. Yeah, and are we done?
I think we're done. Are we done?
Well, let me go into the spiel then, and here's the spiel. 3, 2, 1. Thanks for watching today. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. We appreciate everybody's eyeballs, ears, and your mind. So if you know of something we can do to improve the relationship between people and pets, please speak up on our website in the Contact Us link at TheSocialPet.net, and follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and G+. Again, the links are below, and again, thank you.
Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again. I'm Christina Carter.
And I'm Joe Carter. We're out.
Let's make the world a better place and be kind to every single animal.